there are women suffering in silence.
Yeah.
And they're wearing the strong woman hat and they keep going. And to the point of where they can't go anymore. And they're yelling at their children. They're burnt out. Their husband's not helping them. And there's some single mothers that's married too.
That's right.
The most powerful woman is a woman who can stand in her own right and not care about the titles or the perception that everyone around her has put on her. And that's what healing is.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, no. Like, I'm going to take my power back for me, because once I take my power back for me, the whole village is going to become powerful. You cannot operate in all those things at your highest self if you're stressed out,
Stressed and
if
getting
you're
exhausted.
having depression, if you're having anxiety, if you're in survival mode every single day, you're not thriving. You're wearing a mask for society that says, I'm okay and I'm getting the strongest woman in the world award. No, I don't want the strongest woman in the world award.
This episode of the Exhausted Superwoman Podcast is sponsored by Kountz Wellness Collective Co., LLC.
So there's no like parameters that you have to follow.
Okay.
So like you can let your shoulders down, you
Okay.
can breathe, like you can look at the camera, you can look at me. It don't even matter. That's why we got the lapel. So we are here today to talk about you. So let's talk about you. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So I am a woman who was a mother of a 10-year-old at the time, and then discovered I was pregnant at 40. I was one of the moms affected with the COVID baby, and it was a total surprise for me. Beautiful blessing. On the downside of that, I was like, UTF.
Yeah.
I'm near retirement. I'm feeling like I'm settled in life. Feeling like I finally got it together. Feeling like my son is now 10. I finally got him in a great place. I was at the highlight of my career and everything was just going so well. So people always say, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans, right? And so I told him my plans. I'm doing A, B, C, and D. And that's what I thought I was on the track to do. And then, boom, I'm pregnant. So, really funny story. I had traveled to El Salvador, and on the trip, I had hiked an active volcano. And I remember getting to the top, and I was like, whoo, I'm exhausted. Thinking just from the fatigue of the hike. And after the hike, I just felt really dizzy, really nauseous. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know, what that did to me. Maybe it was the altitude. I'm not sure. So when returning back from my trip, I just felt so sick. And I was like, I probably have COVID. I went and got a COVID test that was negative. I went and did everything possible. And the very last thing that I did was a pregnancy test, because I was like, there's no way these eggs have fried and
Not the bride.
and that could be the very last end result.
Right.
10 years. 10-year-old.
It's halfway there, honey. The home stretch was happening.
I took a pregnancy test. It turned immediately. And I was pregnant. And I was like looking at it like the slow motion of a movie, right? Playing the background music like, this is not real. And I cried so hard. I was like, no, this is not real. So I went to the doctor and they came back and they said, Miss Baltimore, you are 9 weeks pregnant.
Oh. So you climbed the mountain 9 weeks pregnant. An active volcano.
With an active
9
baby.
weeks. With a whole growing baby. Because that first trimester ain't no joke.
And you know what's so crazy? I was fine. I did not feel sick at the time. I was the life of the party.
Yeah.
And so I always call Hansel, that's his name. He's my party baby. And that's literally his personality.
Yeah.
So he naturally took that from me, but never did I expect that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And finding out when you're 9 weeks, that is a whole nother animal. Because now I'm thinking back from my whole 9 weeks of, partying and just not being aware of my
Yeah.
body. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, how did I not listen to my body to the point where I'm 9 weeks pregnant?
Yeah.
And so that was another shocker. And I then had to go through this 6 months of honestly denial.
Okay. That's fair.
Like, this is not happening. This is not happening. I'm pregnant. No, you're not. Yes, you are. Seeing a growing stomach. I isolated myself
Yeah.
because I was just like, this was not in my plans.
Mhm.
And there was a part of me that was a little bit angry. And then, having that relationship with my kid's father,
Mhm.
and he was acting on board. And, everyone's saying, oh my gosh, this is a blessing. And, people were very supportive, and we had a baby shower. People sent gifts to me. I think I received a gift like every single day
Mhm.
by delivery, almost for like 4 months straight.
Wow.
And I was like, everything started to shift. And I was like, Ange, like, come on, this is a blessing for
Mhm.
you. Like, God is blessing you in this moment. Why are you feeling defeated? Had the baby, beautiful baby boy, came out in 3 pushes.
Mhm. That's a win in and of itself. Okay. I know. It is a win.
Like, when I say he was supposed to be here, like the whole situation, talking about it now just feels surreal. I remember driving myself to the hospital, water broke. And I was like, at that time, I had to choose to leave my child home by itself or either
Yeah.
call the ambulance to come get me. And at that time, I chose, I'm like, his dad's going to pick him up when he gets off work. But right now, I've got to drive myself to the hospital.
Absolutely.
Drove myself. I was already dilated to a 7. So you can see the pattern, okay? Found out when he was 9 weeks. Water broke. Drove myself to the hospital. Got to the hospital. And they're like, how are you here? And who got you here? And I'm like, I drove myself. I'm like sitting there waiting. And then I'm like, hey, I guess that's the signal. And they ran. I'm already dilated to a 7. Like, everything happened so fast for me. I
Yeah.
never got time to embrace this big, huge life change in my life when I was not expecting it. So he came 2 weeks early. Another
Big
caveat,
surprise.
right?
Yes. Yes.
Here I am planning, prepping. We still got 2 more weeks. He came 2 weeks early, the last day of September. And I was already dilated to a 7 by the time I got to the hospital. So again, no preparation. Okay.
Right.
So it was starting to be a trend. I'm not prepared for this baby, but he's preparing for me.
That's right. Yeah.
And had him, beautiful. However, I'm an older woman.
Mm.
I'm young in spirit and vibrant, but my body is like, okay, you now have a newborn. You now are not sleeping. You now, it's hard for you to get a shower.
Mhm.
This baby's feeding all night. I breastfed, and beautiful blessing. And I have to be grateful because so many women have complications with their pregnancy. So many women have complications getting pregnant. So many women have complications in life in general with just motherhood. And here I am at ease, and I'm having difficulty with it. And so, my mom flew down and she had to spend weeks with me. And I told her, I was like, Mom, like, I don't know. And she's like, well, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, there's not something I can put words to, but I'm having this feeling and I'm anxious. And while I should be embracing this beautiful moment, I am borderline resentful of it. I'm tired, beginning to stress. I still have another son that I have to care for, okay? And then he's angry because he's been the only child for 10 years. And I remember bringing the baby home and he didn't look at the baby for 3 days. So I now have to deal with his emotions and how he's feeling about it. And I think me and him together were both like, where'd this baby come?
Who dropped this thing out, honey? Somebody gonna have to come get this.
Who are you and who sent you?
Who are you and who sent you? Yes.
And we both were kind of like, and he's like, Mom, I said, well, you asked me for another baby a lot of years. And he's like, but now I don't want one.
Hey.
So he didn't look at him till about 3 to 4 days after he was home. He didn't talk. He didn't, he went silent on me.
Yeah.
So I had to deal with his emotions and his adjustments to now, him still having to go to school. We've all been up from hearing a screaming baby. Everyone's tired. My anxiety and stress is at an all-time high because I still got to get him ready for school. Still got to cook dinner for him. And I was just pulled in so many directions as a single mother. Their dad lives out of state, but he would come, to help when he can. But it's not like a breastfeeding mother when this baby is literally attached to you 24/7. And as soon as they feed, they take a little 30 to 40-minute cat nap and they're back
Again. Yeah.
and it's like, okay, I needed that 30, 40 minutes to sleep with him.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a shower.
Yeah.
I didn't get to clean. I didn't get to do anything but just feed and care for this baby.
Yeah.
And then as time progressed, I feel like I was starting to get worse. So that's when, I started having those conversations with my mom and I would, Mom, can you get him? Mom, can you get him? And she started noticing the signs in me. She's still a mother and I thank God for her because she taught me that being a mother, it never is an age limit.
That's right.
And I needed her more than I ever did. And here I am as a new mother again and I'm needing her, So thank God for the strength of her and just setting that example to like, you can do this and you're going to get through this. And she would take him and she would care for him. And, we'd make this joke. And I said, that's your baby. I said, you wanted me to have this baby and that's your baby. And I said, you said I was going to get through this. And, she's spiritual. And she said, well, pray to God. And I'm like, I'm praying to God and nothing's helping me right now. And so she said, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. But it wasn't getting better. And I was dealing with mood swings. I was dealing with anger, turning into someone I did not recognize. And my mom, did start to see the signs. And she's like, okay, yeah, like something's definitely shifting in you. And we may want to talk to someone or, identify what is actually going on. So I did, explain to the doctor, hey, I'm having a little resentment. Sometimes I did not want to hold him. I was pushing him off on my mom. I was trying to leave the house, go out with friends, just anything to avoid this new motherhood. It was something that I was having a hard time accepting. The other thing that I would like to say is when the doctors start testing you for these things, sometimes you can fill out 4 pages of whatever you're feeling. And guess what? They're going to tell you, okay, that's typically normal. We'll come back, we'll check you again. And then that's it. There's no real preventative care, I would say, for postpartum depression. And there's really no solid advice on how to rid it, if that makes sense.
It does. It does.
So here I am, beautiful baby, good baby. And I'm like, oh, I'm a new mom again. Like, why is this happening to me? Dealing with all those emotions, crying, sleepless nights, starting to isolate myself from people. Friends would say, oh, we want to come over see the baby. And I'm like, no, not today. We're just lounging around the house. Like, I'm not really feeling like it. And that's when I kind of start feeling myself slipping into the depression.
Okay.
That was kind of like the first sign of like isolation because everybody knows I love my friends. I love to be around them. And when I started isolating myself, I'm like, yeah, something is wrong. And, everybody talks about the beautiful things. You brought this baby home. Everybody, oh, let me hold it. Let me, but who is checking on the mother to see her mental state? Who's checking on the mother to see how she really feels? Who is talking to the mother about this new identity shift? Because now you've taken yourself into a whole nother part of you that you didn't know existed. Your body shifted. Your hormones shifted. I know for me, like my teeth shifted, my hair, everything. There's so many parts of your hormones and body and effects of the chemistry that nobody talks about. It's like, you just had the baby. Congratulations. Okay. But what about all the rest of the stuff that also comes with it?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
It's rough.
So before you got pregnant, did you have any challenges with depression, anxiety?
I did not. I was in a very happy place. Now, I did have depression when I was younger
Okay.
from losing my father, a very deep one for a lot of years where I really went into isolation from people and then not having the correct family support
Yeah.
from that. So that did change me into another person. So suffering from depression early on in life from grief was probably something that had been there previously. But before then, I was totally fine.
Yeah.
So, and I did not suffer from postpartum with my first son.
Okay. Did it feel the same? Like, did the feelings of sadness feel the same as when you were previously depressed when you were younger?
It did not. It
Tell me what
more
that.
like regret.
Yeah.
It felt more like reliving all the steps that got me there.
Yeah.
Times where I hate to admit, but I was like, why didn't I get an abortion?
Yeah.
Never having experienced that, but I had thoughts of, why did I keep this baby?
Yeah.
And that wasn't a good feeling for me, especially as someone who loves being a mom
Mhm.
and, loves life. So that was something that I also never really had experienced. Those thoughts of that, just having a lot of regret. And
Mhm.
I didn't like how that felt because what should have been a happy moment for me, I felt like I was in survival mode. I felt like I was always in survival mode, always just trying to make it through the day. And then, I started to look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I'm losing myself and I don't even know who I am anymore. And I'm like, you are a mom of two beautiful boys. Like, you got to take your power back. You're stronger than this. And why are you feeling like this?
Yeah. But at what point did you realize that you were slipping into depression? And then at what point did you kind of pull yourself together? Like, what were those two key moments for
I
you?
would say the key moment would be when I would just give the baby to my mom
Mm-hmm.
and I was try to sleep all day.
Is the
And
sleeping
yeah,
and the avoid?
and avoiding, totally avoidant. And then I would wake up and I would hold him and I'd give him right back
Yeah.
and I'd go right back to sleep. I did not want to do anything and I did not want to almost be bothered with the baby. And that was when the doorbell was like, okay.
Yeah.
My mom would say, you haven't held the baby pretty much all day. And that's not fair. My mom's an elder. And so I would be thinking like, you know what? I haven't.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't even feel away or anything. And
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not normal because typically, with my first son, it was so much bonding. Jill was like, no, you don't.
Right. You like, don't touch my baby. Don't breathe on my baby. Don't look at my baby. Okay.
Right.
But at this point, you were a new mom again. That's something that you were not planning. It's like happening without your permission,
Whole
right? It's
different
like
stage.
you're already in it, and thoughts of not keeping the baby and thoughts of like, what is happening to me? The thoughts of denial, like this isn't happening to me.
Yep.
And then once you're progressing into labor, birth, postpartum, it's like, it sounds like you really didn't have time to process this
Anything.
situationship, right? And it's like, I am responsible for a whole new life again for the rest of my life.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's heavy.
And
That's heavy.
at a pivotal point in my career.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of like all these choices that you've made to get to a certain point have now been diminished. And that left me feeling a lot of regret when I should have been celebrating the blessing from God. And so I was like, okay, something's wrong with this picture. And I told my kid's father and I told my mom, I have to step away from everyone. And they were like, what does that look like? So I will never judge any mother because you don't know what she's battling. You don't know her daily fight.
Yeah.
And you don't know the reason she walked away from things. And so I said, I am taking some time away. And I remember taking a solo trip by myself and I left them. And it was selfish, but I knew that I'm a mother of 2 kids. And if I don't get it together, I'm not going to be able to function for anyone. I'm not going to make it. And so I went away and I literally slept, ordered room service, went to the beach, cried, and I let it all out. I isolated myself and I could almost cry thinking about it because just thinking
making
about
me emotional.
it was so many emotions that were buried in me that I had to and I let them out. And when I came back home, I was like, I'm doing this. I'm doing this for them.
Yeah.
I'm doing it for myself and I'm doing it for everybody that needs me. Because when you're a person who wears so many hats and everybody needs you, sometimes it's to a point where it's like, who's going to be there when I need them? Everybody depends on me. Friendship, family. I've always been the backbone of everyone. And at that point, I didn't have a backbone. I needed to depend on someone else.
Yeah.
So thank God for my mom, because she was my backbone.
Yeah.
And she's a strong mother. And she's an old school mother. Where she's like, you coming out of it.
That's right.
We shaking out of this. You're not giving up on these babies. You're not giving up on nothing in life. But what if I didn't have that?
Yeah.
What about the women who don't have that? What about the women who don't have nobody to talk to? What about the women who can't leave?
Yeah.
And take a trip?
They can't retreat and reset. Right. And unpack all the things that we don't even know that's still living inside of our nervous system. Because it's jolting.
It's
jolting to find out that you have worked so hard for your career. There's a transition point that's happening soon because you're talking about retirement and whatever that next season looks like, right? And now you have this news that should be, and I'd use quotations because I think the part that our society doesn't allow us as birthing bodies, as women who give life, carry life, go through the pain of giving life, and then are responsible for life. Society doesn't allow us that grace to say, you know what, like I really need a whole moment, right? Not a moment like a little micro moment. I'm going to go in the shower and allow my tears to go down the drain as I barely bathe myself.
Right.
That's still rehabbing all of these organs that have shifted inside of us, and hair is falling out and lashes are falling out and teeth are shifting, which I know many people don't even talk about postpartum dental health. Like that is a whole thing that happens, right? So your body is now shifting and pivoting again without our permission. And so that micro moment in the shower is usually not enough, right? Those are moments where it's like, you know what? If I am not well for myself, I can't be well for these babies long term. So I have to be able to disconnect and be able to go and process and purge and reset so that way I can come back restored. Because if we don't, we're not able to be present. We're not able to be well, not only in mind, body, spirit, emotion, but long term, there is that grass fire of resentment that you were talking about. And that's real. That's a lot that we don't talk about when it comes to the resentment part of like, I did not plan for this. And the key is like, it's happening without my permission.
And everybody's like, but you're a mom.
Oh, yeah.
That's what a mom does.
Or you shouldn't feel that way.
Even my mom was like, well, we raised our kids. We didn't get to take trips. We didn't get a, outlet. And I'm like, okay, but is that okay?
Right.
Or do you want an award for being the strongest survivor woman of the year.
Right.
Like, why are we rewarding
exhaustion and burnout? Absolutely. It's almost like there is this imaginary badge that's earned for being the tired, strong woman that
No.
continues to go when we're not okay. But
Right.
it's ancestral. Like, I'm learning in my own like research of discovery is like during certain times, yes, that was required of us because there were situations and there were lifestyles and environments that didn't allow us to have that level of freedom and liberation to be able to step
Right.
away, right? This is not that type of thing, right? Where it's like, okay, we're not living in that mindset anymore. But unfortunately, a lot of our elders and a lot of our society still puts that guilt and shame on us by either the looks or the
Yes.
side comments
Yes.
or the backhanded compliments,
Yes.
right? Where it's like, well, you should be grateful that you've got these beautiful babies. You know, and of course,
Right.
me being sarcastic, I'm like, well, would I be ungrateful if they were ugly babies, right? So, you know, just to kind of lighten the mood. But I mean,
Yes.
in real talk, it's like, so let me get this right. You're shaming me for feeling some type of way about not being joyful, about having a small child when I'm already kind of halfway there through that transition stage of nurturing my 10-year-old going through the next phase in his life. And now I'm
Right.
starting all the way over in a completely different body because I was
Right.
birthed at like the closer, like I'm 40 this year, but I'm like, my youngest is 2. Even though we planned, it still was like, woo,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this didn't look the same and it didn't feel the same as when I
10
was
years
in my
ago.
20s.
Right.
Okay, or even early 30s. Like this thing looked different, right? And so
Different.
it's tough. It is.
Super tough. And like you said, women put those other expectations
Yeah.
on women. And it's like, you're a mom and that's what we do. And you don't have a right to complain about it.
Yeah.
But I want to change that narrative because there are women suffering in silence.
Yeah.
And they're wearing the strong woman hat and they keep going and to the point of where they can't go anymore. And they're yelling at their children. They're burnt out. Their husband's not helping them. And there's some single mothers that's married too.
That's right. Yeah. More so than we'd like to believe, but it is, right? Raising the kids
Right.
while, you know, maybe their significant other is either out working or not participating in the
Exactly.
parenting aspect.
Exactly.
Right. So there's a disconnect and there's a loneliness that comes with that too,
Yes.
of feeling like you're raising children by yourself when you're in a
Exactly.
partnership.
Exactly.
So that's another dimension that, you know, is a lot of times overlooked. Yeah.
Not talked about.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, this is my role. And I was like, I'm going to change this. And what does life look for me outside of a title? Who am I as a woman without being a mother? Who am I without my job? Who am I without my friends? Who am I without my family? The most powerful woman is a woman who can stand in her own right and not care about the titles or the perception that everyone around her has put on her. And that's what healing is.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, no, like I'm going to take my power back for me because once I take my power back for me, the whole village is going to become powerful. I'm going to be a better mother. I'm going to be a better friend. I'm going to be better in work. You cannot operate in all those things at your highest self if you're stressed out.
Stressed and
If
depleted and
you're
exhausted.
having depression, if you're having anxiety, if you're in survival mode every single day, you're not thriving. You're wearing a mask for society that says, I'm okay. And I'm getting the strongest woman in the world award. No, I don't want the strongest woman in the world award.
They can have it, honey.
Sorry.
At what cost?
At what cost?
That's the key question is, okay, I do all of these things. I show up for all of these people. I am the superwoman. I am, you know, raising babies and I'm holding hands and I'm getting assignments done and I'm hugging the people. And yet my cup is completely dried out. I'm burnt out. I'm exhausted. I'm depleted. I feel a sense.
Yes. Haven't even had a coffee with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I remember someone inboxed me one time and they were like, oh, must be nice to go out when you have small children. And I said, yes, it is nice. And I'm going to have a drink with my friend and have dinner because that's what I need to function at my highest self for my family. You're not there every day with me. You're not fighting the battles I'm fighting. You're not paying my bills.
Yeah.
And so it's like, we got to stop judging people for how they show up in life because you don't know how many people how many people are depending on them. You know what I mean?
Or the internal battle. So, the fact that someone has the audacity to slide in your DM and have something to say about a snapshot of what they see, of what you chose to post, right? So like, that's the ownership. Is like, what we choose to post is what we choose to post. But I think the missing component is this may not be the everyday. And even if it is, right? Devil's advocate, even if it is, you don't pay my bills. You're not helping, right? You're not helping in any way to
visit the baby.
And yet you got something to say. You have found it in your own right to be tapping on my phone, or tapping on your phone, sliding in my DM, having an opinion about it, shaming you for being able to create a little bit more balance in your life. And that's the part of it, right?
That's what it is. Balance.
Yeah.
It's balance.
That is
and
balance.
I love how you said, here's a snippet photo of my life on social media.
It's a snapshot.
I'm a mom in real life, 365 days, it's 48 hours a day.
Yes.
Not 24.
Like that, Johnny. It's like double up. Yes.
Like, I'm still a mom when I have a flu. I'm still a
all
mom
the time
when I have to be at work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, children are not for social media because I'm a mom in real life.
Yeah.
I don't have to put up a glorified picture to show what's really going on in our life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I know people gave me the side eye and then, oh, she's on vacation again. I sure am.
I sure
and guess
am.
what?
Yeah.
I got out of that depression
Yeah.
because I took that time for myself. And now I can show up for my kids 100% my full self. I can be happy. I can let them run around and jump on the couch without saying, sit your butt down. I can be like, yay, you're a kid.
Yes.
You should jump.
Yeah.
You should play. You should be happy. I always tell everyone a happy mom has happy children.
But you have to be able to take that step to be selfish in that way, to be able to nurture yourself back to health, especially when we have community members that slide in people's DMs and have something to say. And I mean, I know that I'm highlighting that one like comment or statement that was made. And I've had that happen to me a lot where it's, they see what they see on social media and they have their formed opinion, which it is what it is, right? Like,
my kids are not here on vacation with me.
But even if they're not,
what I wanted you to
see.
Even
if they're not on vacation with you and they're well taken care of and they're safe, why does it matter what I'm doing if I'm making sure that I'm taking care of myself? This is my own therapy. It may look different than traditional, but this is what I need for my soul in order to truly show up in fullness for my children and be well. And be a reflection of wellness.
Not wear a mask to say, oh, this is my baby and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
With a lot of moms are doing. I can genuinely say, nope, you know what? I'm happy in real life.
Yeah.
Not for a photo, not for my kids, not for my parents, not for family members, for myself. I fulfilled myself. It was selfish. Times where I was like, okay, y'all better take these kids.
Yeah.
But guess what? I overcame that. What if I wouldn't have? What if, there's people losing their life every single day because they're like, I don't care anymore. And I can't do this anymore. So it's like, would we rather for women to take a little bit of selfishness and get their together?
Yeah. Yes.
Or they out.
Or the alternative.
Yeah. Or, they've abandoned their children now.
Yeah.
Or they're in the home being abusive to the kids, yelling at the kids, neglecting the kids. but then still showing face to society as
Yes.
I'm here every single day.
Mhm.
I never go out with my friends. I never take a vacation, but you yelling at your kids every
Mhm.
day. Your
Behind closed
kids
doors.
hate
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Your kids see an angry mother every single day, but you want to judge the next woman who's going out and saying, I need a,
Yes.
I'm taking a break so I don't break these kids.
But that is the realest statement, is that we have to be able to care for ourselves and know where that threshold is that says, if I do not take care of my well-being, I won't be well, not only for myself, for my children, for my community. And that's legacy though. What are we teaching the children if we are operating from an empty space, from a survival mode space?
Yes.
You know, so for you to be selfish in your own right really is unapologetic, because you knew you knew what was really going on behind the scenes, even if you couldn't name it.
Yeah.
When you talk about, I needed to hand my baby over to my mom, I was escaping from my home life to be able to just breathe a little bit, right? You were disassociating from what was happening in real life. But the reality is you had a lot of moving pieces that were happening at one time. And many times in our society and in our culture and between women, we are harshly judged for being able to sit and say, I'm not okay.
Not okay.
This isn't okay. And so we got to figure out what okay looks like, because if we don't, it can get dangerous really quick.
Yes.
And it does. That's the thing. When it's too late, it's like, oh, well, we didn't know that she was why didn't she ask for help? And it's like, how can I ask for help when those around me who, let's just say they genuinely wanted to support and maybe didn't know how to support, still did not ask, how can I support you? Or check in, hey, let me come hold the baby. Let me just sit with the baby so you can go out and rest, right? Like go to a hotel room. If you're, whether you're still nursing or not, it's one of those things. You can be able to step away from an overstimulating environment and say, I need this break. And I need to be able to trust that my community will not judge me, because I'm already judging myself. And it doesn't feel like support when you ask for help.
Right.
Or even when you're presenting like you need help, right? I.e. going to the medical office, 6-week post.
Yes.
You're doing all the paperwork and they're like, oh, okay, well, that's normal. Well, it may be normal for that hormonal shift, but that doesn't mean that it's okay. So like, how can we figure out what that looks like on the holistic side? And to your point, it's the preventative action as well. How can we make sure that we're having these organic conversations to be able to acknowledge that, yes, this may be chemical reactions happening and biology is changing. And okay, we know that that's the way of life. It's part of the territory, but that still doesn't neglect that there's a gap that's definitely there between prenatal, postpartum, and beyond.
Yes.
That we don't have that community that's ready to say, listen, I'm not here to judge you. What do you need from me today? Do you want me to, baby? Do you want me to just sit with you? Do you want me to just do some laundry? What
do you need?
Yeah. And even if you don't know, that's still okay. You have
Yes.
somebody that is sitting and being still with you with completely no judgment.
And you have the women who are so strong who don't even know how to ask for that help. Like, I live here in Atlanta with 0 family and I have 2 children. I don't even have a babysitter. Like, they don't go to a babysitter. They're either with their dad or my mom has to fly here from Michigan to watch them. So my life and structure is very different. I don't have aunts and uncles and grandmas where I can just drop my kids off and do that. So they're with me all the time.
Yeah.
And like you said, why can we not expand our community to say, you know what, instead of giving a baby showers are needed, but let's have a cleanup party. Let's go to that mom's house and clean her house and wash her dishes and wash bottles and things like that. And, it's like you have all these outside women or family judging you. They never came and helped me. Half of them haven't even met my son, and he's now 3.
Wow.
So it's like, I went through this alone. You know, I can count on my hand how many friends actually came, visit, helped. I had one friend who came and cleaned my house. Like, she's my soul mate.
Yeah.
But like, I could literally count on my hand anybody who reached out to say, how are you? So many people say congratulations. Oh, it's so cute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody says, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you covering?
Let me step in now.
Is there something I can do for you? You know, people invite you out to things, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's not enough support for mothers.
Yeah.
Especially mothers with newborns to toddlers, because nobody even talks about the toddler.
Nice.
They after the baby,
Ruthless.
you're like, woo, please go back to being a baby. Because then they switch into toddlerhood, and you're like, okay, really keep me in your prayers. But I can say the toddlerhood has been good for me, because now I'm okay. I'm doing good. It was the most postpartum with the newborn.
Of course, yeah.
But it's still rough. I still have my everyday struggles. But I will say, if I did not take that time for myself to figure out who is Angela outside of being a mother, that is really what brought me back. What do I like to do? You know, whether I also did a sound bath, vibrational healing, spent time with friends. Invite that new mom out for a drink.
Yeah.
Invite that new mom out to dinner.
Mm-hmm.
She needs that break away from her regular day to life, even if it's for an hour or two. Yeah. And when that mom comes out, show that mom a good time. Mm-hmm. It's not the time to be stuffy.
Yeah.
It's the time to be boring.
Yeah.
Because that mom has now taken time away from her kids. She wants relief. She wants a break. She wants to have fun. She wants to identify with a part of herself that is not a mother, not cleaning up, not anxious, not stressed, without judgment. Yeah. Without somebody saying, where's the baby? Like, the baby's at home. The baby is safe. Baby's with his dad. Okay. Can we talk about fathers?
Yeah.
Why? Who told us that it was 100% our job? A mother and a father is a 50-50 co-parent situation. Yeah. Leave them kids with their daddy. Let daddy figure it out. He can be a father. He can cook them some food sometime. He can take them to the park sometime. He can let the mom get a break sometime. Nobody said that we have to do it all. Yeah. I don't want the award of doing it all.
Yeah. How did that make you feel when you didn't have the support that you deserve to have?
That also can do, depression as well, because for me, I show up for everyone. I support them wholeheartedly. Everyone knows, I'm the friend you can share good news with, because I'm going to be just as happy as you are. I'm going to spread it. I'm going to share it, whatever. When it comes to you, and like you said, that cup is empty, and you see the same people that you didn't pour it out to, watch their kids, supported their kids, and now it's like, okay, nothing for you. It feels lonely. It's hurtful. Like I said, my son is 3. I could probably count on my hands how many times people have seen him, and now I don't even reach out, because it's a two-way street, and people are like, when are you going to come see me? When are you going to come see me? I've got 2 kids. That's 3 plane tickets. Yeah. It's a two-way street. And once I stopped pouring into the cups that were no longer pouring into me, all of a sudden it's like, here's your cup, right? And I always call it overflow. Everybody knows whatever I have, I give to my overflow, because now my cup's full and I'm going to flow it out to you. Before, my cup was empty. And guess what? Nobody was pouring into that cup. I was just pouring out to others. So I stopped pouring out to others, and I started pouring into myself. Now, who does she think she is? Now, girl, where you at? Why you never invite me? Nope. What I was pouring, I'm now pouring into me, and now you don't like it.
Right. You're investing back into yourself.
You liked it when I was pouring all into you. But I started getting selfish, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to pour this love into myself. And then my cup started bubble over, right?
Yes. The overflow.
The overflow. And then everybody's like, I want some water. I want that energy.
Yeah.
I want some of it. And I'm like,
Yep.
borders, boundaries, walls. You can't have any of this. Access denied. You don't get access to me anymore, because when I was open with it, I wasn't in a good place. And nobody even saw that, you know? And so it's like, now I got boundaries. Now I revoke access.
Okay.
Now I like to build with others that are pouring into me, and we could pour into each other. And now both of our cups are bubbling over.
Yes.
It's not, I'm empty, you empty, and we just trying to survive. And we putting on the COVID mask to smiling pictures, but we crying in the parking lot. No, we want wholeness. Like, I had to stop hanging around people who also was draining me, because a lot of people, they love you as your full self, right? But then they come and drain you. And it's like, okay, there was this story that when I train adults, it's like, you cannot jump a car with a dead battery. You think of energy as a socket, right? There's a socket of energy. There's a plug. You have to plug that into the energy socket. Okay. If it's overly loaded, it can spark. If there's no energy there, you keep checking. Where's my energy source? Where's my energy source? Okay. Oh, girl, we got to check the plug. Something's loose. It's not working. And so once you cut off that energy source, you leave a lot of people kind of dead. Yeah. And they don't like it. But the point of the matter is, you are not charging me. You're blowing my charger, and you're leaving me dead, and I'm leaving you dead. Because I need to plug in, and I need to be filled. Yeah. I need to have the energy. I need to have other strong women pouring back into me.
That's right.
Because I can get weak. Iron sharpens iron. So I can't be the strongest woman in the room. I can't be the smartest woman in the room. I can't be the foundation. I've got to be around other women who are also foundations, who are teaching me. I'm always a student. So once I changed kind of like that perspective, and I stopped looking for aesthetics, I stopped looking for, this beautiful made up woman. I start looking for the soul of people. I start looking for the energy of people. And my discernment started going through the roof. And so it came to a point where it's like, I don't like your energy. I'm disassociated.
That's right.
And I don't got to explain myself. And people are like, oh, you're cold. You're changing. You're ghosting me. No, your energy is not where I'm vibing at right now.
Yeah.
And like you said, we need that community, but who's in your community?
That's right. That matters too.
Are they taking or are they charging you?
Yeah.
They leaving your battery dead? Are they charging your battery?
Yeah. So for women who are navigating motherhood, they're navigating mental health in regards to prenatal, postpartum, beyond postpartum, what would be your message to them?
It would be, take some time for yourself. It's not selfish. It's needed. Do not neglect yourself. Go get your hair done. Go get your nails done. Go get a pedicure. Go have a coffee by yourself. Spend some time alone. So many women are afraid to be alone. You cannot keep being whole when you're always looking for validation from all these people around you.
Yeah.
You got to eat alone. You got to spend some time alone. You got to do things for yourself, and you've got to get some other powerful women around you because you can't do it all alone. You got to get around strong women. You got to be a little selfish.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put back in yourself. If you feel yourself getting neglected, if you look in the mirror like, girl, I ain't combed my hair in 3 weeks, spend that little extra money and go get your hair professionally done. Spend that little $25 and go get a pedicure. Buy yourself some new lingerie. I remember after having my kid, I was like, I don't like the way my body looks, in lingerie or anything like that. But if you just start doing those little self-care, love things, you'll be surprised how it'll start changing your confidence, how it'll start sparking your mood. Buy yourself a little treat. Even though you feel like, oh, I don't want to spend money, I don't want to take away from kids, buy yourself a little perfume. Buy yourself a new bra. It's $80, but you need a new bra.
Investment, yeah. I love that you made the mention of the lingerie as a key point because the
Yes.
body does change in ways that are different. And so it reminds me of self-intimacy when you talk
Yes.
about invest in yourself, whether it's your hair, your nails, yes, the outward part of it, but the other part of it is the internal part is
Yes.
self-love.
Self-love.
Being able to spend time with yourself is different than feelings of loneliness. Right. Being alone is different from loneliness because when you
Exactly.
get to spend time with yourself, you get to reintroduce yourself to who you
Yes.
are without all the titles, without the people that have opinions,
Yep.
without the society that is telling you what you should be doing or should not be doing.
Yes.
Right. And that also helps to reground you so you have your own foundation to be able to be around other women that are
Yes.
like-minded like you. That's
Go out and eat alone, but also go out and eat with some strong women. It's the balance of both. And that's how you get your strength back. That's how you command the room because now you're whole. You're whole all alone. You don't have to have all these people. You don't have to have anything. People know I travel alone. I'll go sit at a bar alone. I'll go eat alone.
Same.
And
I'm
people be
quite
like, it's so weird. You don't feel weird? I'm like, I feel my best.
Yeah.
But I had to
When you
learn
spend
that.
time with yourself.
It didn't come overnight. It came in the healing. Came with spending time alone. What do I like? What do I like to do? Go to a museum. Do something that you love to do. That's how you bring yourself back. That's how you start doing that little self-love. I also did fasting. People don't realize the power of fasting. When you self-neglect your body from all the flesh, all the things you crave, we don't realize how much stress and anxiety is coming from the things we're putting into our body, what we're
Exactly.
drinking, eating, fast food, grease, sugar. All that stuff is playing portions of our mood, of our mind, of how our body feels sluggish, tired. Straight like vegan for 21 days. That changed my whole mood, brain chemistry, stopped me with the sugar urges. I became abstinent, like no sex. I know women be like, ooh, I couldn't do it. Guess what? You don't realize how much energy you're putting into a man.
Yeah.
This man could be sucking your energy dry.
Right. Yeah.
He could be pulling everything out of you. You see so many women, they're at the highlight of their career, and then all of a sudden, here come a man. Sucked her dry.
Yeah.
And she's looking like she's on the last leg left. And everybody's like, what happened? Because that man sucked her dry. So I withdrew from my body.
Yeah.
I definitely don't want to have another baby.
Yeah.
But it's like keeping my body and my energy to myself. You don't realize how powerful it is. Like not having sex. People be like, how'd you do that? It's like, you don't realize how much energy
Exchange
is
is happening.
exchanging in that chemistry. You're now taking on parts of whatever this person is battling.
That's right. Energetically.
And it's a transfer. They always say, be careful of the people who you let touch you, but it's real because it's a transfer. And someone could be dead inside, and now you've slept with this man, and all of a sudden you can't figure out why you starting to feel dead. Because he didn't transfer all his emotions, all his stress, all his anxiety, and he's now inserting that into you. And you can't figure out why all of a sudden you glowing and going. All of a sudden you're in the house and he's telling you, you don't need to go out with your friends. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. And next second, your whole mind is like, I don't feel good, or I don't want to go nowhere. And you start seeing the shift in the women. They start getting lazy. Their upkeep starts going down. And slowly but slowly, you see that woman losing herself. And she doesn't know why. And she's like, well, I did everything right. I'm a faithful wife. I don't hang out with my friends. I don't do anything. I did everything right.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me? Why am I losing myself? Because you didn't let somebody else drain you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very subtle, yet very powerful and impactful. And that's part of protecting your energy, is knowing where your boundaries lie and trusting your intuition. But if we're not spending time with ourselves and doing life with ourselves, we're not able to be attuned to what is supposed to be in our orbit versus what we need to be able to create boundaries for.
It's easily mistaken, and it's almost a fix. Okay, I feel depressed. I feel lonely. I want to eat chocolate. I want to drink. I want to, have
Relations.
I want to be fulfilled.
Yeah.
But are you really being fulfilled? Or are you sugarcoating those emotions?
Yeah.
Once you sit with yourself and you now take, the chocolate, the food, the relations, the alcohol, whatever that you're using to numb yourself.
That's right.
Now you're sitting with all these emotions. That's what you have to fix without nothing else numbing that pain. That's the real healing. That's the wholeness. That's the self-care. And then you start to see yourself come out of it and you're like, wait a minute, I'm different. Like, none of these things no longer fulfill me because I'm fulfilling myself. And now I feel whole.
But you have to go through those layers of numbing, if you will, right? That we practice, that we don't even realize that we do. And so when we peel away all those layers and we get to the core and the root of it, it's like, okay.
It's like, woo.
Now I know what this is. I can be able to rebuild myself up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, when we think about the beauty of women, sometimes they're wearing all these extra aesthetics. But once you start peeling all of it off, they're then left in the mirror with themselves. And it's like, if you can't love that woman in the mirror without nothing extra, what are we doing?
I've loved this conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.
It has been an honor. It has, because when I first talked to you and I shared this with you, our conversation was so organic, and it was one of the first moments you had really acknowledged that you were experiencing postpartum depression when you had a newborn. And I think that that moment was so powerful because that was a release for you. Like, I felt that shift of
It's out.
yeah, of that deep sigh.
One thing I can say about you, because talk about energy, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like everybody that I've been connecting with, it's like a divine connection. And so you don't know this, but it's like you are that person sent to pull that out of people. And I had been asking God, like, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? And how is it going to be revealed? And I didn't know that. And I have to thank you, because it's like, I want to help other women so that they don't feel guilty about having their newborn baby, so that they don't feel guilty about having that self-care and love. And for you to just have that energy to be able to pull it out of people and for them to feel safe.
Yeah.
Because so many people are like, having like 51K followers. And if you're not of those platforms, it's like they look at you like, oh, who are you? No, I only want, people with a certain aesthetic, that I want to talk with or showcase. And so I appreciate you for just loving genuine connections like they're really divine. And I think it's just going to be so powerful for you, right? Because 2 cups that are full, they
Yes, they bubble
over.
over. I love that. Thank you. So these conversations are very intentional. And so with intention, I want to make sure that they're protected as well. And that's the part that we need is to be able to unpack in a safe space and to know that our stories are kept sacred.
Yep.
And I want to be that vessel in that container.
So you already are that vessel. More than you know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes,
I do.
yes. I appreciate you because I was like, this was therapy for me in itself. Because once you heal, right, nobody ever knows how you got there. And nobody ever don't talk about it either.
It's like they moved on. They're like,
They
all right.
moved- Now I'm good. Now my babies, I'm going to just raise my babies. But
Yeah.
we can't leave other women behind. And if my story could help one person to be like, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep going. Yes, it's hard. Motherhood is the hardest thing that you will ever do. I always tell people when they tell me they're a stay-at-home mom, I say, you have the hardest job in society. I'd rather go to work. So encouraging other women, stop judging them. Stop judging them from what you see in a picture. Stop judging for how they live their life. Stop judging for what they're doing to make money for their kids. You don't know that woman's story. You don't know the things that she had to overcome to be who she is and to be where she's at. Like, it's rough. And we got to be more supportive of each other because unfortunately, we're the ones tearing each other down.
We birth generations, but we're also
Yes.
And it comes from hurt, right?
Yep.
We talk about hurt people, hurt people.
people.
There was at some point in some woman's life, because we're talking about women against women, especially Black women against Black women.
Yeah. I suffered, so you should suffer too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And so having these organic conversations, it allows us to be able to share our stories the way that we want them to be shared. But it also allows there to be an invitation to have more conversations that invite other people to sit at the table and to really be able to do the healing work that's necessary in order for us to not be harmful and to be hurtful to other women.
Yes.
It gives us permission to say, I'm going to lead with gentleness. I may not understand her story. It may be a different language, different season, different time, but that shared connection is that we've all been hurt and harmed at one point, and we refuse to be able to pass that on to the next woman. And instead of responding in a hurtful way, it's like, let's do a little bit more grace and compassion.
Yep.
And so that's why we're here. Well, that is our time.
Thank you.
I promise to do right by your story.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you. No, it's like these thighs and these legs, honey. I'm like, okay, we gonna make sure we get that
Support for
right.
this podcast comes from Kountz Wellness Collective, where healing meets real life.